All right, let's look at some more examples of one-point perspective in photographs. So here we have a very clear photograph showing one-point perspective. Can you see where the horizon line is? We know that the horizon line is where the land meets the sky. And you know that line is going to be horizontal. Like the word horizon, it's horizontal. So can you see where the land meets the sky? There it is. Now, it does go through those trees because even though those trees are in the way, if they weren't there, that is where the land meets the sky. And you can see all the way in the middle towards the back, we can still see a little bit of sky there that the trees are not covering. So that's one way we know that that is where our horizon line is. Now, our vanishing point is the next thing we have to find. Our vanishing point is always on the horizon line. Can you see where the vanishing point is? There it is. It's actually a little bit smaller than that, but we know that it looks like everything is vanishing as it gets to that point. All the lines in the image are leading towards that point, and it looks like they're disappearing or vanishing, the vanishing point. The next thing we need to look for are the converging lines. The converging lines converge, they come together, and they always meet at the vanishing point. They're the lines that look like they're leading towards the vanishing point and disappearing. Can you see some of the converging lines? Here are two pretty easy examples. Our train tracks are leading towards the vanishing point and looking like they disappear. But there are some other ones in this image as well. Here are a whole bunch more. Even if you look at this tree line along the top right corner here, the top of our tree line, if we follow it on this diagonal, it does lead towards our vanishing point. So do the tops of these fences. If we drew one on this side along the tops of these fences would also lead towards the vanishing point. Let's look at another image. All right, this image is a little different because it's not outside. So how can we determine where the land and the sky meet? Well, we can't see where they meet. So let's try and think of another way to do it. We know that the vanishing point is always on the horizon line. So let's try and determine where the vanishing point is. Where does it look like everything is moving towards a single point and disappearing? Well, I'm going to use the edges of these walls, and I can see it looks like the vanishing point is probably somewhere here in this door. And there it is. Again, it's quite large here. Would be a little smaller. Would be a point rather than a large circle. So once we have where our vanishing point is, we now know where the horizon line is going to be because the vanishing point is always on the horizon line. So there it is. Let's double check though by following those converging lines. Remember, the converging lines converge or come together at our vanishing point. And here are some of those converging lines. The bottom edge of the wall here leads towards the vanishing point on both sides, as well as the top edge. Even if you followed the top edge of these doors and you created a converging line, you would see they also lead to the vanishing point. So even though we can't see where the land and the sky meet, we can still determine where the horizon line is, where the vanishing point is, and where all the converging lines are. Let's look at one more example. Here we have one where we can actually see where the land and the sky meet, so that helps us find the vanishing or the horizon line. And there it is. We can see it's the division between the land and the sky. And of course, this one's also pretty easy to find the vanishing point because it really does look like everything is kind of disappearing as it gets further off into the distance because it's so far away. So there's our vanishing point. And then converging lines, similar to that first one we looked at, we could also assume that these streetcar tracks are going to be converging lines. You're actually going to find a whole bunch more as well. So have a look. See if you can find some other converging lines. Pay attention to the lines of the buildings. All right, let's see. Here along the edge of these buildings, they lead towards the vanishing point. Same with on this side. We've got our streetcar line here. We even have these streetcar wires along the sky here. They also lead towards the vanishing point. There we have a beautiful example of one-point perspective.